listen, when you guys wake up.
Oops. Already did that.
At least you did wake up.
Yeah, well,
Right, yeah.
Triple One summoned the other guys, so he was just like, you know what? We're resetting.
Okay, so we're back. We're live once again for a game I think most of our players have been highly anticipating. Find out what happens in game number 2 of Survivor's Dawn. Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right, so if we can get a game recap from Mike, or if Mike doesn't want to do it, somebody else wants to step up, that's fine.
Hold on, let me get to it. Lots of notes. Okay.
Pitter paddle, let's get at her.
So first game, we haven't even met each other. So first game was just an introduction to all of our characters. Background information that Venezuela and Colombia are on the brink of full-scale war. Colombia had led a retaliatory strike against Venezuela. Venezuela had used chromium guardsman suits, which weren't supposed to be used for war, and wiped out a town. Half of whom were civilians. They're both nuclear powers at this point. So that's on everybody's news report. Let's see. Brittany plays Alex Palmer. She is a advertising person, also a survival prepper. I play Marcus. I am a City of Phoenix human resources manager. That's real character creation. Let's see. Abby plays Naomi Angelus. Works at a Dollar General, drives a hoopty. There's a lot I put in here. Let's see. Her twin did an ID stop and ran off with her boyfriend. And generally had to deal with shenanigans around the store. Callie plays Jackie Carter, former Marine, just got her orders to report to NEMA, which is the Northern Eagle Military Alliance. Was that right?
Yep.
So as of when we left off, she was supposed to go there the next morning. Shelley plays Matilda Kern, who actually like half the group lives in this megastructure, this one big building. Shelley makes Munchie Bunchy, which is a trail mix for pets, works at the zoo, does some deliveries. Did I miss anybody?
You missed Chip.
Chip, I think it's just weird spacing. I think Chip got buried in here somewhere. Chip is a driver, apparently. Doing deliveries. He picks up a NEMA captain. Overhears the captain talking about the Titan missile base right outside Tucson, which is supposed to be a museum and it's a decommissioned nuclear silo, which is now a museum. And the rest of the game was sort of each of us going about our normal lives.
Yep.
That takes us to
more of the same.
Barry.
All right. So we're going to pick up where we left off. At this point, everybody has had kind of an understanding of where they're at, their current predicament, or their position in life. Let's see. So the time right now is currently... actually, before I do that, let's see. I know Naomi would be up. I know Chip is up. Everybody else might have a reason to be currently up. Night owls?
Gamer, maybe?
Okay. Just making sure. I wrote this a little assumptively, but I'm pretty sure it still fits for everybody. If not, we'll make it fit. So, it is December 22nd, 2098. We've just rolled into the next day. It is 12:03 a.m. Midnight had come and gone in Phoenix without much fanfare. Just the distant thrum of music from rooftop lounges, the hum of hover traffic overhead, and the occasional shimmer of synthetic snowflakes falling in downtown plazas. At 12:03 a.m., something shifted. A tremor, a small, slow, and deep tremor, rolled beneath the city, just strong enough to unsettle glassware or flicker smart bulbs. Streetlights pulsed irregularly, comms devices rebooted without prompting. In scattered pockets around the valley, birds took flight in unison, and stray dogs howled into otherwise calm streets. Most residents slept through it. Others simply reset their devices and moved on. Above the Estrella Mountains, a faint arc of blue lighting, or I should say, a faint arc of blue lightning danced between the peaks. Silent and slow, with no storm in sight. Across Phoenix, minor power surges rolled through neighborhood grids like waves brushing against the edge of a city. Emergency systems hiccuped. Drones rerouted or froze. Navigation arrays blinked back to factory settings. It didn't feel like a disaster. Just a strange moment, an atmospheric anomaly perhaps, a blip in the system. And across the city, at gas stations, in high-rise condos, from aging rooftops to trembling shelters. Oh, yeah, that's not appropriate. Sorry. Odd. That particular writing actually took into account something that hasn't actually happened. None of you have met yet. All right, so we're going to start off with Chipstone, where you're at 12:03 a.m. You are currently in flight over Indian Schools Road, eastbound. Chip, your Apex Roadster floated smoothly above Indian School Road when the dashboard glitched. Once in Mandarin, then again in French. The nav systems froze, and the world beneath you stuttered. The tremor hit without violence, but something about it carried through the hovercraft like a current of wrongness. Below, a delivery drone lost altitude and tumbled onto the street, joining about a dozen traffic units that simply stopped midair. Your hover car drifted in place as Phoenix blinked uncertainly beneath you. Lights flared, went dim, then rebooted without a pattern. Your dispatch board had gone dark, only a single red pulse blinking where the route log should actually be. And you could tell that the city stretched out like circuitry on the verge of overload. Remaining in the air, unmoving, staring out towards the distant skyline where power surges danced like lightning without sound.
So how high up in the air is he hovering right now?
You're probably about 100 feet in the air.
And
obviously not safe enough to like drop,
right?
But high enough that you're not going to run into any power lines, or which a lot of those have been put underground. But high enough to obviously see oncoming flying traffic.
Okay. Is he like stopped at a light or anything, or was he like forced to stop because
you were just waiting at a light nearby or something? Not a whole lot of late night drivers right now.
Right.
It's pretty calm. Just you actually happen to see this, and of course, one or two drones just went and fell from the sky with a silent crash. Out in these night streets.
Right. Yeah. So he's gonna be looking at that like, the heck? Why is the city affected? What is going on? And he's going to see if he can like turn on the radio again to see if there's any news as far as like what's causing the power outage stuff.
Sure. 1 second. Let's see. Okay, nothing there. So currently, your radio is cycling.
Okay.
Which kind of checks out. If everything else is kind of on the blink, the internet and probably radio frequencies are on the blink. So you may have to check back again for when things have reset.
Yeah.
You know, they're not cycling or what. Otherwise, it doesn't look. I mean, it's super weird, especially given the fact that in the future there's obviously a lot of electric billboards. You know, and like I detailed last game, there certain nicer looking buildings have like a fake visual through like LEDs and whatnot that make it look like it's snowing, and just a nice ad. All that's kind of on the blink. Like snowfall looks kind of jagged or kind of stopped, you know, like it, you know, like a computer freaking out. Billboards, you know, have like that basic prompt, like when, you know, Windows blue screens or something, and it tells you it's rebooting. It's like it's temporarily going through something like that. It's weird. You've never seen anything like you've actually seen like a billboard, Fritz, right?
Right.
You've never seen like several of them along with like power lines and whatnot. So it's pretty bizarre, but otherwise not harmed. You know, your car is a little strange. Like you're waiting for the menu to come back so you get your route and whatever it is that you're doing. That may warrant a call to customer service to find out, like, did you have anything in queue before this happened? But otherwise, no.
Okay. Then just to make sure it doesn't become like catastrophic, once he's able to like go like when the light turns green or whatever, if possible, he's gonna try to like land somewhere near like, is this, I take it this car is like is it fully electric or does it use fuel or
Actually, it's a great question. I think your car is completely energy powered. Let me just double check.
okay.
Cars, and we said Apex, right?
Yeah, Tesla Apex Roadster 2088.
Yeah, I'm imagining it is. Yes. Yours is powered by quantum cell batteries with a
Nice.
900-mile range at full charge.
Sweet.
Wow, you're
Okay.
driving a 10-year-old car and you're an Uber driver? Do they let you do that?
Maybe. They do now.
I love that was the takeaway for Brittany there. Like, the whole world just kind of went, eh, and she comes back with, "You're driving
Your
a
car's
10-year-old car?"
Your car's old.
I know.
Yeah.
You're
So
old. You should get married.
So yeah, he's then going to the moment he can, just to make sure that something doesn't fall out of the sky or something, he'll park on the ground at like a nearby charging station or
Sure.
something and see if recharging his car fixes whatever glitches are happening.
Okay. So you just ease it on down to a nearby charging station. For visual reference, you were heading eastbound. You're at the corner of 16th and Indian School, 16th Street.
Okay.
So obviously it's much more upscale, but it's right near the Indian Hospital and their kind of civic center and whatnot they've got up in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a charging station, you know, and even the like the attendant in the fuel station, you know, it has like 2 gas pumps. A lot of stuff at this point has converted over to like fusion or, you know, other forms of power. Which they've got stations obviously for that too. But he comes like, you know, stepping out, looking around, and like with a definite like, what the hell was that sort of look to him.
Yeah.
And the store lights flickered, but came back on and stayed steady. But it's clear there may be some other stuff in the background, like registers and stuff that might be tied to the internet that it's on the blink.
Yeah. Yeah, so he, powers down his car, gets out, like, before he charges it, he'll go ahead and, like, if there are people within, like, the convenience store area, he'll go in there and see about getting a snack too while he's here anyway, see if he can figure out what's going on, if he can hear anybody talking about it.
Okay. I mean, just the guy, who walked out of the storefront, the gas station.
Okay.
And he sees you there, and he's like looking around, and he says, "Hey, buddy, am I seeing the same thing you are? Like everything's cycling or something?"
Yeah, it's actually everything is. Even my car was, and I was flying. I'm not sure why everything's synced up and flickering. Like, is that happening just in the store too? Because it seems like it's all throughout the city.
Yeah, I mean, he looks back. He says, "Yeah, like Jenny's kicked on for the lights, but that knocked out like our whole system for point of sale. I've got to wait for that to reboot now before I do any sort of sales or whatnot." But he looks around. He's like, "Not like anybody's coming in at this hour."
Right. Yeah, I might call it early after I get a charge if it even works. Do any of the chargers work, or are those on the fritz too? Do you know?
Let me go check real quick. Hang out. So he goes like walking back on the inside. And he comes back out and he says, "No, it looks like they're all fine. Nothing's down or whatnot. Just obviously I can't make any sales through it."
Right. Yeah, well, shoot. Okay. Well, yeah, hey, good luck to you. Be safe on the road with everything that's happening.
Yeah, he's looking around. He's like, "Yeah, no, I feel you totally."
So then since sounds like no sales are happening, he'll head back to his car. He won't bother like trying to charge it since that's apparently not going to work either. And he's gonna stay on the ground and just drive on the street to see if he can get back to his condo at Nexus Heights.
Sure. Yeah, driving. I mean, it's you had a couple things go on the fritz, but it didn't like completely shut the vehicle down.
Okay.
Um, but whatever happened obviously affected, like, as far as you can tell, almost anything.
Right.
Driving a course is just fine. Eventually, pardon me. Eventually, your little route finder comes up. After it's cycled through and rebooted. Occasionally, though, you're noticing that it has problems connecting to the internet.
Shoot. I see if I can contact like customer service through it to see if I can get it fixed that way.
Okay. So you press a button, pull up the dialing pad on your on the screen inside. Hit the main customer service button, and as you make the call, you get like a doo doo doo. Service is not currently available in your area. Please hang up and try a call again.
This is insane. Everything's down? What is happening? Wait. Those countries are far, but no, no way. I'm just gonna get home. This is crazy. He goes ahead and turns off his receiver. He's not gonna take any more like requests, even if they came through, and he'll just head home
Sure.
right now.
Not a problem. Okay, so you end up heading back. That's not what I was looking for. I can close that down. 1 second. That's not what I was looking for either. Let's see. Okay. Alrighty, so that is what's going on with you. You make your trip back home. Hey, Jackie! 12:03 a.m. Maryville Mega Building 1, Level 24. The tremor that rolled through the floor was barely enough to knock over her water bottle, but it was enough to silence the entire apartment for a heartbeat. The overhead lights sputtered, flickered violet, and then returned to a lower, unnatural glow. Something in the building's voice had changed. The internal systems weren't just glitching, they sounded confused. A low emergency tone warbled to life. Not fire, not lockdown, just something else. Sounding weird and slightly undefinable. Down the hall, hurried footsteps echoed. Multiple pairs, moving without coordination. And from your balcony, the Twin Towers of Maryville 2, or one across from it, obviously, across the avenue, blinked in sync. Like a system-wide stutter had rippled through the city's east grid. Peacekeepers were moving fast through the mezzanine levels below, their movement sharp but uncertain. The megastructure felt like it had been shifted, but not shaken. Something wasn't right, not just with the building, but deep in the bones of the city.
All right. The first thing she's going to do is grab her go bag, which will have her ammo, change of clothes, rations, food, preserved food that won't go bad. Whatever we use for money, that's on hand. That's not going through the banking system.
Credits.
So credit sticks. And she will also grab her rifle and let's see what I have, which will be in a locked bag that she can sling over her back, like a backpack kind of thing.
Okay.
Nondescript, but she doesn't want to freak anybody out. I'll have my handgun with me. And then, I will head, once I get everything together, then I'll go ahead and check the hallways and see what it looks like people are doing.
Okay, sure. So you peek out, you kind of look around. Right now, it looks like about half of your floor is probably out on the mezzanine right now, just looking around, kind of talking to each other, confirming did you hear that? Did you feel this? Blah 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 blah. What do you think's going on? So a lot of confusion, some side conversations. Nobody's running per se.
Okay. Then she'll lock her door and just purposely move through people. She's just got somewhere to go. Get out of my way. And she will take the stairs, all of them, to head down to where her motorcycle's parked.
Okay.
Since she does not trust the elevators at this moment.
Totally fine. As you get to the stairway down, you can hear occasionally people leaning over the side of the mezzanine, trying to shout to somebody on the lower level or something. Did you feel that? Did you see this? Blah. They're just, everybody's trying to confirm. Some people are clearly concerned. Other people are whatever. And just kind of shrugging it off, or occasionally you hear somebody, probably older people on occasion, trying to tune in some sort of radio really loud. So you hear that kind of squelching in the background every so often. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot for you there except the long flight of stairs down. So we'll get back to you in a moment. You've got quite a journey. Needless to say, you'll be ready for boot camp.
Yeah, she's all, I could rappel down the side of the building, but that's not great. So I'll just take the stairs. Then I'm getting locked in an elevator.
All right. So Matilda.
Yes.
2:03 a.m. Maryville Mega Building, number 1, level 17. On the lower residential levels of Maryvale 1, the tremor arrived like a breath held too long, barely perceptible under her storage, or I should say, barely perceptible until her storage bins rattled and a sealed bag of product hit the floor. The lights in her apartment turned a pale, pulsing red before switching off altogether. The fan cut out. Her air scrubber choked on its next cycle. A jingle from the shopping plaza floors below warped in the distance, slow and stretched like it was being played underwater. In the hallway, red strobes blinked like dying eyes. Panicked voices rose from the stairwell just outside your unit. The usual noise of nightlife had taken on a jagged edge. Elevators stalling, someone shouting about sparks, a child crying nearby. She stood barefoot on the cool tile, hands still coated in a trace of pet vitamin paste. Even without the news feeds or alert, something in her gut told her this wasn't just a systems failure. Somewhere above, another resident was likely feeling the same thing. The entire mega building, 65 stories of concrete and humanity, had become a pressure chamber waiting to rupture.
Okay. Yeah. She'll wipe her hands clean and get dressed.
Okay.
Grab her emergency bag and shove several packs of her pet mix in it. And then
Munchy bunchies.
yeah, she'll try to see if the radio or the TV works, so she kind of get an idea what's going on.
Sure. So you click it on. Right now, like with the radio, it's a lot of static and things trying to kick back on. The TV obviously comes on once power stabilizes, but it's still cycling through trying to get connection to the internet.
Okay. I think that she would go ahead and grab her rifle and head out as well and make her way through the crowded halls towards the stairwell.
Okay.
Because if this building's coming down, she doesn't want to be in it.
Sure. That's fair. You can tell most people aren't of that opinion. Everybody's trying to figure out just what they think. There's panic, obviously, but more disjointed. Like, is it a power outage? Did the company that manages these bills, like stupid things like, did they pay their bill? Is it like a system? Is it a system-wide failure in the building? Some people thinking that like electrical's bad or whatever. Just it's a gambit of different theories that people are banding about.
I think she would definitely notice the fact that Phoenix doesn't have earthquakes, and the fact that they had a tremor would kind of put her on alert.
Sure, fair, okay. All right. I'll get to you in a second then. Alex. 12:03 a.m. At home near 7th Street in Missouri. The light surged all at once, blooming to full white intensity and casting harsh shadows across the bins of sealed rations and half-organized supply crates. A tremor swept through the floor. Just seconds later, subtle but unmistakable, the emergency lanterns on the top shelf clicked against each other in a soft warning. Your smart assistant stammered to life in a distorted accent before cutting off completely. Stepping outside, the night air hit dry and cool. The street was too quiet. Across the blocks, light dimmed and surged again. A delivery drone spiraled down behind a house 2 doors down, its rotors whining in protest until it crashed into the ground. Her hand rested on the frame of her door as the neighborhood pulsed with flickering holiday lights. Too bright, too fast. The power grid wasn't failing. It was struggling to understand something that seemed to be alive. She turned back inside without hesitation, and at that moment, Yukon darted past you and hid under your couch. You're muted, Brittany.
Sorry, I missed that it was my turn. Okay, well, I'm gonna look around, check the breakers, do the normal troubleshooting stuff.
Okay. Why don't you give me a intelligence and technology roll? Difficulty 6.
Okay. That didn't work. We still have to use the other dice bot.
Yep.
Lame. That would be
Why aren't you using the Zamisi dice bot?
Oh, duh. Okay. 1 success.
Okay,
Sorry.
you're fine. So rolling through and checking your circuit breakers, nothing seems blown, nothing seems out of place. Your backup generator did kick on, temporarily until, of course, the power seemed to have stabilized itself several minutes later.
I'm gonna open the windows and look outside, or open the blinds and look outside.
Okay.
See if it's a neighborhood thing.
Well, you're
or if it's
closer to
just
the
my house.
ground, but you can tell. Not only is your neighborhood reacting this way, but I don't think you've ever been in an actual earthquake, Brittany. You have?
No.
Okay.
Okay. You're right. I haven't.
Okay. So if you're ever in an actual earthquake at night, you will see the lights flicker throughout the city. It's a weird look. Like, you actually see the sky kind of flickering a bit as all the lights are cycling through, or powering up, powering down, so on and so forth. So it does kind of have that look to it, which is very unusual. It's not something that would ever really happen to Phoenix.
Okay, well, then I'm gonna go around the house just checking if all my stuff is secure, and making sure that I have access to it.
Yes, you still do. Stuff's jostled a little bit. Nothing's broken. Nothing's damaged. Everything still seems to be there.
Okay, and then I'm gonna
The smart system in your home, however, is still cycling through. It's having some issues.
Okay. Then I'm gonna manually check all the locks and probably go to bed.
Okay. It's good that you manually check the locks, because since that's something your smart system can operate, those locks failed, and so they were all basically open. So you just kind of go through manually, lock them up. Not a problem.
Okay. Then I'll check on the cat and settle in for the night.
Sure. It takes Yukon quite a bit to come out. He actually stays underneath your couch for a good portion of the morning at that point. Naomi, sit up, you. All right. 12:03 a.m. Closing up Dollar General in Lower Tempe. The shutter halfway down the storefront had stopped moving when the floor gave a sharp, disorienting shudder. Stutter, I should say. Inside the store, 2 shelves toppled with a clatter, and the ceiling light surged bright enough to bleach the interior before fading back to sickly dim. Behind her, the digital register rebooted with a short buzz and then stayed off. In the parking lot, her car sat trembling, hazard lights flashing erratically. The neon signage from the nearby gas station lit up blue, and then abruptly went black. The sirens in the distance were dissonant, stretched too long, flickering in volume. The sky to the southwest shimmered with a pulse of light far too vibrant to be natural. The dashboard pepper spray rested where where she had left it. She stayed inside the vehicle, hands still, breathing shallow, eyes scanning the horizon for a shape she did not yet know. So this happened like just as you closed up and finished.
And walked to my car.
Yep.
Okay, and what direction is that light coming from again?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Southwest, yep.
Okay. Is southwest toward my house? Like my apartment?
No, that's away from it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go home, but I definitely note that is really weird.
Okay.
And I have no idea.
Sure. So you start your car, obviously turn off the stupid hazards at this point. That's not going to be, relevant to driving. It's fine. You also see some of the same things that Alex and Chip have seen so far about the city in general, like blinking lights, the occasional drone that just dropped out of the sky and and wrecked, for some reason or another. Traffic lights, most of them just flashing yellow, if not at all, indicating that there was some sort of issue. All right. Let's see. Get back over here. So that was Naomi. Marcus. I think we've got everybody else. Yes,
Hi.
Okay. So 12:03. Home. Central Phoenix. The tablet slipped off the bed when the tremors came. His thermostat glitched mid-cycle and stayed offline. All of the lights in the house took on a strange rhythm, pulsing faintly like a warm heartbeat, or a warning heartbeat, I should say. Nothing catastrophic, but nothing ordinary either. A breeze from nowhere rattled the blinds, though no windows were open. From the window, Marcus could see half the block had gone dark. A transformer across the street popped with a flash, sending sparks across the lawn, a transformer across the street popped with a flash, sending sparks across the lawn dressed in plastic reindeer. Above the rooftops, the sky itself seemed to ripple, blue arcs threading across the sky. The city wasn't just experiencing a blackout, it was reacting to something. He turned away, walked down the hallway to the locked cabinet that he hadn't opened in years, and released the latch without hesitation.
Okay, what was in? Sorry, what was in the? What did I release?
The latch to your cabinet, whatever is in there.
Okay.
Could be a weapon, could be backup phone. Knowing your character, probably some kind of weapon.
Yeah, but probably not a gun.
Yeah.
my faithful baseball bat. All right. Well, I want to check with the city, see if like internal city government channels are saying anything.
Sure. So right now you're encountering some of the very same things. Internet is down. Phones are having trouble connecting. One reason or another. Radios don't seem to be. They're maybe trying to pick up something, but it's like mostly squelch and static.
All right. Well, strange glows in the sky makes me think of radiation, and we have a fusion power plant nearby, right?
Palo Alto, yes. It's not in the city, but it's a ways out.
Close enough.
For nuclear fallout, if something blew up, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bat. I'm going to grab some water and a change of clothes. The safe would probably have some valuables in it that I could trade if the credit system were down. And then I'm going to get in my car and drive up and around. And I think when I see what you've described for everybody else, the city pulsing and the blue in the air, I'm gonna head into City Hall or wherever our operations center is.
Okay. City Hall.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go that way.
Okay. All right. So it's Palo Verde, and Palo Verde itself is about 45 miles from downtown Phoenix. So just as an FYI. Okay, so you're going in way early in the morning, obviously, to check in, find out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of your role. Makes sense. Okay, so here are some things that you guys pick up first thing in the morning. So once some lines of communication start opening, internet stabilizes, radios start kicking on. Obviously, connections for TV and news and media people are all starting to try and talk about it. So there's an article on the Phoenix Metro Times, Digital Midnight Edition. So somebody got one of the first groups that got something posted, managed to get it successfully posted on the internet. So it's obviously being passed around quite a bit through local traffic. And it reads, residents from Flagstaff to Chandler have flooded social media with videos of brilliant blue light streaking across the sky and erupting from the desert floor. Some claim to have seen pillars of blue light or cracks in the air along desolate roads near remote power stations. Local meteorologists were caught off guard, offering only vague speculations about electric discharge from the upper atmosphere. A Sky Harbor air traffic controller who wished to remain anonymous reported, something big blinked onto our radar and then disappeared, like a tower of light moving sideways. As of this writing, there's no official statement from NEMA or NOAA, N-O-A-A. That was at 1:13 a.m. That was one of the first reports that got up there outside of random chatter, like I said, on social media, or people starting to banter about when the internet finally got back up. The next one came up at almost 10:30 a.m. And it was a Maricopa County emergency broadcast bulletin, captured specifically by the Civil Defense Scanner Group. So it ended up being posted around elsewhere. But it's the signal. Some of this is obviously what they heard. Some of it is conjecture about what they actually heard. The message started off with stadium prepped as precautionary emergency hub. And the announcement, which had been kind of internal, but got leaked pretty quick. This is a civil emergency preparedness announcement in light of the unexplained geoelectric anomalies reported across the region. State Farm Stadium has been designated a temporary emergency coordination site. Residents are not currently ordered to evacuate, but those in proximity may voluntarily relocate as a precautionary measure. This is not a drill. And then some people have reported shortly after this announcement, the signal was overridden by static, then repeated in fragments. One scanner user claims to have heard the phrase "energy bleeding through ground structures" buried in a loop. The stadium lights, meanwhile, have reportedly flickered on and off throughout the morning, despite no known scheduled events. One second. All right. So other news outlets started reporting on that, reporting on a number of things here. And these are the following. I'm just going to list them off as of times and like where we're at and where we're at in general. So 12:30 a.m. Local news flash, KPNX 12, Phoenix NBC affiliate. Minor earthquake reported in Maricopa County. Officials investigating possible fault disruption. A mild 3.0 earthquake struck Phoenix metro area shortly after midnight, according to United States Geological Survey. Emergency management is investigating irregular fluctuations in the city's power grid and strange wildlife activity reported by residents in Maryville, South Mountain, and Mesa. Officials stress there is no cause for alarm at this time. This is another one that came across at 1:10 a.m. National news ticker from CNN Wire. Global electromagnetic anomalies reported. Experts stumped. A wave of unusual electromagnetic surges have been detected across multiple continents within the last hour. According to early data from monitoring stations in the US, Europe, and East Asia. Flight paths, satellite systems, and commercial drone networks have reported temporary disruptions, with some areas experiencing short-range comms interference and unexplained power fluctuations. While no official cause has been confirmed, several experts are calling it an unprecedented worldwide anomaly. Authorities urge calm as investigation continues. 3:45 a.m. Local alert. Channel 5, AZ, The Night Beat. Online stream only. Zoo animals display erratic behavior. Staff reports multiple enclosures breached overnight. Phoenix Zoo is temporarily closed after several animals, including coyotes and birds of prey, displayed signs of panic and attempted enclosure breaches. No injuries reported. A temporary blackout in the area may be connected. Zoo officials are investigating. 6 a.m. KJZZ 91.5 FM. Phoenix NPR affiliate radio broadcast. In other news, state emergency officials are coordinating with the Department of Energy after multiple Arizona substations experienced simultaneous overloads overnight. While power has been restored in most areas, grid stability remains unpredictable. Listeners are advised to avoid unnecessary travel until further notice. 9 a.m. National Brief. Associated Press online story. Ley line theory gains ground among fringe scientists after global energy distortions. A growing number of researchers previously dismissed by the mainstream science community are claiming that Earth's ley lines, theoretical energy patterns or pathways, are real and currently undergoing activation. While most experts dismiss these claims as pseudoscience, a few have noted an inexplicable rise in ambient energy levels and uncharted magnetic pulses worldwide. And that is where we're at as of 10 something this morning. So does anybody have anything in specific they would like to do?
I'm going to make sure I'm in the right chats with the city government,
Okay,
so I can keep tabs on any alerts that come up.
sure. As a manager, they probably would have pulled you in anyways. So not really super difficult. Really, you're more just responding to yes, 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 to chat invites and whatnot. So it automatically prompts you up and gets you locked in. Citywide, there's again a lot of confusion. People are trying to find out just what exactly happened. Ongoing theory right now that started early in the morning was that something happened with Palo Verde. But then people come back and they're like, no, that probably isn't the case. Palo Verde may be affected. We're also looking into that. Other chats are indicating like they're trying to mobilize the National Guard to help out, which oddly enough, because you had investigated this just yesterday, you know that the that emergency building, that bunker that you went to, they're woefully inept for dealing with this right now. They're grossly undermanned, and aside from sitting on the National Guard compound, the only thing that they really have going for it is they have a good transmitter, for obviously for emergency purposes. And you knew that from your visit going there yesterday. This is clearly a resource that is being underutilized as of this point, and you also know from the chat that the National Guard, because NEMA had come in and had set up, the National Guard is also woefully understaffed, and they're trying to call people up, but obviously there's issues with calling people up because of communication issues. So they're also trying to, and in other chats, are trying to get people to, from the civic authority, trying to go around and like contact some of these people directly to say, hey, can you, we need to get you in, sort of thing, and so it's deadlocked with a lot of traffic, but they seem to be making some headway.
I'm going to see if I can get any of the supplies that they're starting to move to these evacuation shelters. Make sure a shipment gets to that shelter.
To the bunker?
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a charisma and expression? Difficulty 7 because it's over text.
Nope.
Okay. So it gets kind of lost in the flurry of chatter that is going on in the text chat that you happen to be in. You restate it again. It's like, hey, I said this like 15 posts ago. Can we get something like that? And somebody ends up chiming, kind of snippy, probably not intending to be, but they say something to the effect of like that. That facility is parroting what you've already heard. It was due to be mothballed and potentially bulldozed, so there's nothing allocated to it as of this point, and that they are attempting to work with NEMA at this point for disaster relief.
Okay.
Speaking of NEMA, I will show up to my assigned post probably way earlier than needed, and then camp out just in the parking lot with her motorcycle.
Okay.
To catch a few Z's till time comes around.
I think Tilly would she would have headed to the zoo and had helping out where she could, and I think that by 10 something, she would be going to the stores. Is there a lot of traffic like in Winco?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay. So she is, even though she's got supplies like water and stuff, she wants to grab just like another case of water, some more canned food, and make sure she's got extra batteries.
Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah, I already talked about that. Okay, so uh, so anybody else doing anything or just kind of staying put back
Are
at
the
home?
phones up?
Mostly.
I would contact my boss and see if like what the status is for work today.
So you do end up getting through to him, and he says at this point, shelter in place. We're not even worried about work as of this point in time.
Okay.
So just stay put and wait till we hear more from the local authorities.
And I'll say everything okay on your end?
I grumbles a bit about some things that may have broken or something, but he comes back and says everything seems to be fine for the most part, with the exception of some general panic about everything that happened.
Yeah, understandable. Okay, I'll wait to hear a word. Be careful out there.
Okay. All right. So, is that it? I think Abby or Dale.
Yeah, probably not really doing anything except like watching the news, listening to the news as far as this goes,
Yeah,
try to
just
keep up to date.
that makes sense. Abby, is Naomi doing the same thing?
Pretty much, because she has, the late night shift. She probably was sleep and then catch the news, see what everyone said.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Sure thing. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead a little bit here then. I'm not. These are in. I'm reading these in no particular order. Obviously, there are timestamps next to them, so just pay attention to that, I guess. One thing you do note, for those of you who are perhaps out and about, there are people out here that'd be like that. There are some people that are not really heeding the warnings to shelter in place or going out in the wilderness or going on hiking trails and whatnot, trying to take pictures of like this blue energy phenomenon and whatnot, trying to take selfies, film it in general, that sort of thing. So you've got some of that.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, that never happens. About at some point in the afternoon, guys are probably going to like this one. So at some point in the afternoon, the article reads, "The veins of the earth are opening," and in big capital letters, "Wake up." And it's from Unshackled Reality, which was a live broadcast featuring Daryl Kane on NetHub, which was a video hosting platform. You ever heard of the ley lines? Of course not, because the globalists scrubbed it from your school books. But they're real, and they're waking up. Blue fire, ground tears, time slips. I just got a call from someone near Sedona who swears her reflection stopped moving. Reflections, people. Ley lines are blowing up skyward like geysers and all those underground bases. They ain't for the Russians. They're for this. The ancient energy grid is activating, and it's burning through our reality. Kane, long known for his erratic theories, claims to have seen footage of a child levitating in an abandoned Circle K and military units retreating from an invisible force in Quartzsite. While most of his claims remain unverified, more than one video has surfaced of unexplained sky blue pillars erupting in the Arizona deserts.
Mm-hmm.
The voice of credibility, I know. So as of 3:50 p.m., national broadcast, Fox News Live. It is a partial feed because it got broken up and interrupted some. Military satellites have been detecting strange atmospheric anomalies over Yellowstone National Park and the surrounding region. While seismic activity remains low, geologists say will be issuing a statement later this evening. Power fluctuations reported across 5 states, affecting surveillance and drone cameras. 5:10 p.m. Local emergency broadcast overlay. KGUN 9, Tucson Phoenix simulcast. Residents are advised to remain indoors due to unstable weather and static lightning across the Estrella Mountains. Blue and white lightning phenomenon have been seen over the Estrella Range, though no storms are present. Multiple amateur meteorologists have documented the event online. No injuries have been reported. Valley Metro transit systems are operating on limited service due to electronic interference. Let's see. That was at 8 p.m. Then at 9:42 p.m., KPNX 12. This is a this is a news article that locally people started, or an article, a feed people started sharing because of what they were tracking. This is partial information. We're getting reports, unconfirmed reports of an enormous energy spike near Yellowstone. Wait, cutting to Denver. Audio warbles again, and then eventually comes back in. Unknown explosion or atmospheric breach. Then the visual stutters, screen pixelates, and it goes black. Second. Just checking my notes.
Are you saying Estrella Mountains?
Estrella.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled Estrella.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I just I was spelling it more like Atreyu.
Oh, gotcha.
Like Atreya.
Okay.
But I Google Maps did.
That's helpful.
It's one of my favorite places in Phoenix.
I regrettably made way too many notes.
That and Camelback. I miss seeing Camelback.
So I will catch all you guys up in a second, but needless to say, if you're waiting on anybody like Jackie or whatnot, nobody ever came. It's been a lot of chaos, obviously, going around. Those you monitoring any sort of radio feeds, either through like radio apps on a TV or ham radios or something, if you have those. Around that time, at about 10:16, you end up hearing something to the effect of, which sounds like it may have been, maybe a military or a first responder broadcast. You end up hearing something effective like, Phoenix Metro, if you can hear this, repeat. Shelter infrastructure holding near West Valley. Report to designated evac zones. Cardinal Stadium confirmed intact. And shortly after that particular message comes through, where is it at? Oh, here we go. And this actually happened right around that time frame, as well as that broadcast going down, like cutting out. You end up hearing on every emergency loudspeaker system in the city, drone mounted speakers and SolarLink terminals throughout the city. Those still operating. It's on repeat in loops in high traffic zones, especially near potential major shelter routes. Attention! This is the joint emergency alert from NEMA and the city of Phoenix. If you are hearing this message, you are in a declared emergency zone. Infrastructure has been compromised. Emergency shelters are open at the following sites: State Farm Stadium, Primary Evacuation Shelter, Desert Sky Mall Parking Structure, Banner Thunderbird Medical Center, Phoenix Convention Center, North Hall, Sunny Slope High School, Gymnasium. Additional shelters are being evaluated. Avoid down power lines and elevated freeways. Bring only essential supplies. Leave vehicles if blocked. Aid convoys will arrive on solar cycle intervals. Repeat, this is a joint emergency alert. Help is coming. Stay alive. Stay visible. Stay together. End transmission. Then in a couple seconds, it starts repeating in those areas. And as that is happening, there's another major shake. And this is not this is not a 3.0.
Can I just back up a bit? During the day, could I have like gone to Costco and loaded up with like water and whatever?
I'll give you a chance, because most everybody's doing that as well. And in crisis situations,
I was gonna say,
it's what you can arm check your way in and carry back out.
Yeah.
is there any toilet paper left?
That was the first.
That was
Naomi-
clearly the first thing to go.
Yes.
Naomi would have filled up like all her empty jars and food capsules that would hold water with water that day, if that's possible.
Sure. So I'll get with you about that. Obviously, Matilda was doing something similar when she was going to Winco. Okay, so to start to get your way in, it's going to be a strength and athletics check.
Can do that. 3 successes.
Okay. So getting in's not a problem. Unfortunately, it's them or you, and you vote for you. So kind of force your way in.
For the people of Phoenix.
Yep. Now give me a perception. Give me a perception and alertness check as you are rushing as quickly as you can to spot what you need.
1 success.
Ooh, okay. You managed to grab an available cart. You only get one of those. They're the small versions of the water jugs, like you would put on the top of a water cooler, but these can be handheld. So you swipe one of those. So you've got that going for you. You managed to grab. You managed to take your arm and knock in like 3 loaves of bread. And you might want to write these down, because I'm not going to hold on to this information for anybody. And then you also pick up you managed to swipe the one of the only bottles of ibuprofen left, as well as 2 bottles of vodka.
That's important.
Could be.
You're set forever.
Yep.
You'll definitely survive now.
It's a good antiseptic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Like, they actually might have medical uses.
Yes,
so.
exactly. Okay. So.
Well,
before
the purpose was to take this haul over to the neglected shelter.
Right.
So I'll take my 2 grocery bags worth. Go there.
So this is going to be the only scavenging or whatnot you guys can do before everything hits, and then we'll go from there. So Chip, what did you manage to do?
Since everything is clearly getting more and more hectic, he gets in his car. Throughout like his own home, he's probably going to see if he has enough stuff. Gosh, with how crazy it is, would he want to just stay indoors? You know what? He's actually just gonna stay indoors. He's gonna assume that he's gonna be okay,
Okay.
so he'll just stay there.
Brittany, aka Alex.
Yeah, I'm gonna fill up any empty containers with water, and also like fill up the bathtub. Check the generator, like make sure the generators have oil or gasoline, fuel, whatever.
They have energy cells,
Yeah, fair enough.
but that's your charge.
Yeah. So like while I've got power and water, make sure I can store it.
Okay.
And then would I have a garden?
Yes.
I'm gonna harvest whatever I can harvest from that. I don't want to chance that getting destroyed or whatever.
Sure. It's wintertime, so there's not a whole lot that you'd be able to get from it as of this point.
Potatoes and carrots.
But good that you brought that up. Potatoes got a potate. You did manage to pull up 5 potatoes.
Okay. That's 5 more than I had this morning.
That is correct. So Abby, I know what you're doing. You're obviously filling up any containers. You end up with 2 water bottles from freebie giveaways that you ended up getting that you never used. So you had to blow off the dust from them. You just held on to them because you don't really have a lot. But at least they're sealed and they got a nice bendy straw. So you filled those up. You got that for water. And as far as just standing water, like you've got the other side of the sink full.
Okay.
So you made a rush around. You got that. I mean, you can obviously put more in some cups, but that's just kind of like more.
Do I have any milk jugs?
No.
Okay.
So Jackie, what were you doing during this time frame? Because obviously you're waiting out there for somebody to hopefully connect with you, and nobody did. Like they were just running around like madmen at this point.
Yeah, she was like, okay, well, this isn't going to work out. So she will take the time to recheck her go bag. Instead of carrying water, she has one of those water filtration kits.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where you can just take any water and just filter it out to drinkable, safe. And then just the standard survival gear. I can just do a list of like emergency stuff. So first aid kit with like bandages and iodine,
sure.
Scissors, all that. Changes of clothes, ammo, MREs, rifle cleaning kit with her rifle, that kind of stuff. And if she's feeling like, oh, I'm low on this, or I should pick up a couple more things of this, then she will do that. She won't go to any big stores. She'll try to hit something that's a little bit out of the way, like a corner store.
Sure. Okay.
To buy, maybe extra bandages, gauze.
Oh, nobody's buying at this point.
Oh, nobody's buying.
Oh no,
She'll try, like, just to be like, hey, I'm not going to try to rob you. But she won't go out of her way to stop other people from doing it. She's just like, I don't
gotcha. Yeah, just stay out of their way, but trying to do what you can. Okay.
And she will move away from. She doesn't really want to be near like the mega building like she was in, right? She'll want to go something that's less stuff to fall on you, kind of thing.
Right.
So
Okay.
we'll try to maneuver her way around it.
So we'll say then you went to Steel Indian Park.
Okay.
It's near the VA, kind of familiar. Okay. And so Matilda, we already know what you were doing at that point. Jackie, you end up coming off with 5 power bars, 2 granola bars, several pouches of the gummy treats, fruity gummy treats. And you ended up getting, that you were trying to buy it. You ended up getting like the generic 1 gallon jug of water.
Okay.
There wasn't really much left to salvage because people were.
She wasn't really worried about it because she had her filtration kit, so she's kind of like, yeah, I'll just something. She has a canteen, but she'll take the gallon of water just to have an extra container.
I have a question, Jerome. Since Kelly and my characters seem to be major survivalists, in case like of an emergency, a lot of times, banks and stuff are down. You can't access your funds.
Mm-hmm.
So how much like in precious metals would my character be able to have acquired in case of said emergency?
You don't really have much of the. What are your resources?
My resources isn't the best, but I have a 1.
Yeah, so you don't have any precious metals or anything like that.
Okay.
You put pretty much all your stock in trade in Munchie Bunchies.
Okay.
Which can obviously double up for food.
Yeah. Do you want a list of our emergency bags?
Not right now.
Okay.
Definitely not for this game.
I have it sitting in my Google Doc, so I can always just share
me
it.
too.
Whenever.
Okay, so. Oh, that's not what I need. Lost that note. Hold on 1 second. I apologize.
Buffering.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for. So, what ends up happening just after 10 p.m., a seismic shock hits Arizona. You guys aren't sure what exactly it is, but it's massive. For out-of-character purposes, it was an 8.5 earthquake. Downtown skyscrapers, many of them collapse. Infrastructure through I-10, I-17, and the airport fail catastrophically. And obviously people are still buckling from all that, like the devastation and whatnot. Everybody hunkering down, staying in place, or trying to find places to go. By the morning of the 23rd at this point, ash begins to fall from the sky. What was originally a night sky where you could faintly see stars has now been almost completely blackened out, and ash is falling everywhere like snow. Initially, it was light. and the ash coating the ground. But it starts thickening quickly. By the morning of the 23rd, sunlight is completely blotted out. Skies turn gray-black. The ash also begins to interfere with electronics and possibly even breathing. So everybody's starting to wear cloth or put on masks and whatnot to assist with that. More of the blue lights begin erupting all over the place and staying on, providing some of the only sources of light. There are, at this point in time, there is no active internet to communicate with each other. Radios still seem to work somewhat, but obviously whatever's happening around you and in the atmosphere is also interfering with that. Something dreadful has absolutely happened, and it's nothing like any of you have ever experienced. So by the morning of the 23rd, let's start finding out what everybody's doing here. Let's start off with Abby. So what is Naomi doing right now?
She wants to check on Anthony.
Okay.
And his parents.
So that complex, after the earthquake shook, took a big hit. Your apartment has visible damage, like the back window went down, standing water that you would have had that wasn't sealed, like the containers you had in, spilt everywhere. As you exit, and you do your best to hobble around some of the collapsed balconies and walkways that lead to the other side, where Anthony is at.
Can I say that she takes her tomahawks with her in her holster?
No, absolutely not. You wouldn't take anything to defend yourself with.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that is assumed that you would, like, something like this happened. You're grabbing something to help you to serve a purpose.
Uh-huh.
Wow, I guess I didn't copy that one down. Let me find that here real fast. Give me a moment.
Yeah, basically, like, if she needs to move rubble, she can use it as a lever and all sorts of different things.
Sure. Okay. So you found, so when you get to his apartment, the door has been broken open, and it looks like the ceiling had collapsed in there. Thankfully, when you're poking around, it doesn't look like anybody was home.
Okay.
You do manage to find a note on the toppled over refrigerator. It looks like it was placed in here in the 1980s because it still runs.
They don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't.
It's a GE error.
But the note says, "Mom, Dad, if you're reading this, it means I had to go. Things are getting worse faster than anyone thought. I couldn't stay put knowing Uncle Darian, Aunt Celeste, and Henri might still be out there. You remember the old stories, right? About the project they helped build? I think I know where it's at. Somewhere east of Talking Stick near the Salt River. If I'm right, it's tucked away behind one of those old gated properties. I'm heading there to see if I can find them and see if it's a safe place for us. If you don't get this, don't wait for me. Get out of downtown as fast as you can. The roads are already a mess. The power is flickering worse every hour. If you don't hear from me in 3 days, I assume you. If you don't hear from me in 3 days, assume I made it, and you should head east too. Look for the signs: blue ribbons on fences, a sun symbol scratched into fence posts. That's how I'll mark the path. I love you both so much. Stay safe, Anthony."
Can I get a copy of that?
Again, no. Why are you asking me to be helpful to you?
Give it to me, Jerome.
Well, now, Yeah. I'll send it to you.
You get the nice Abby or the mean Abby.
Oh my.
There you go.
Oh,
I sent it to you directly in Instant Messenger.
Thank you. And she takes it and tucks it into her
Sure.
like a baggie and then into her pocket so it
Okay.
doesn't get any water damage or
Right.
anything.
Good deal. Okay. And of course, major bullet points on this, I will be dropping those into the notes chat as well, so that way you don't have to like take them all down. They're there for you to reflect on if necessary.
Okay. Also, can she look around the apartment and see if there's anything helpful that she can loot?
You absolutely can. You don't have a you don't have a backpack per se, so you're going to have to kind of rough it with some, with double layered plastic bags and whatnot until
Okay.
you can get something better. But plastic bags are something that his mother collected quite a bit.
Perfect.
You don't know why. They sat underneath the sink. Maybe she just didn't want to clutter, or didn't want, I should say, pollute the earth with plastic baggies, but for whatever reason, she's got quite a few. You managed to find...
You can duct tape them together and make a rain suit.
Sure. So you managed to find 4 cans of baked beans.
Okay.
A can of chili mac. And you managed to find 2 cans of pears.
Okay.
All right. So that was Naomi. Alex?
I probably don't have very good light. I mean, I'm pretty much gonna hunker down at home.
Okay. You've got plenty of light.
Oh, okay.
You have
Then,
backup generators. The house has taken some minor damage, mostly the fence out back. But no, the house is okay. Your biggest problem right now, the water in the tub that spilled some. It's not that it's spoiled; it's just splashed and lost about a third. So it's wet, slippery. You're gonna want to clean that up.
Yeah.
Obviously, it made a
definitely
mess
do
of
that.
your house, so you'll need to clean that up. But otherwise,
Yeah,
it's
good way to.
it's
time.
otherwise it's okay.
Yeah, so I would just be hunkering down, cleaning up, trying to pass the time. Maybe if I've got light, maybe I'll like work on sewing something or crocheting something useful,
Sure.
like
Okay.
scarves or something. I don't know.
Okay. Sure. Chip.
Basically, just passing the time, being constructive, trying to not panic, and just wait and see what happens. And I would try and start conserving or like rationing food both for me and for the cat.
Okay. That works.
She's not gonna like that, but
No, of course not.
too bad.
Chip.
Okay, so it is like, even though it's during the day, it's super dark out because of the ash. However, there are the blue lights that are flickering in the sky still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mostly certain points in the city now. And it's not so much like the lightning that was being seen before. It's specific parts of the city, like the Estrella mountain range over in that area.
Okay. Boy, oh boy. Gosh. So, they were told to go to like specific sites and whatnot. So he's just gonna gather a handful of things. He didn't really prepare well, but he was just trying to be informed. So he gathers like what he can. He's got his pistol. He's got like some clothes and whatnot. Throws that in his car, and first tries to see if it runs or if it's still like on the fritz.
No, it still runs, still has power.
Okay, nice. All right, so he's gonna see if he can then drive carefully to like a nearby center. So let's see, like one of those emergency centers. I don't know what would be closest to him based on the ones you mentioned earlier, like State Farm Stadium or what have you.
State Farm Stadium is clear on the west side. That's Cardinal
Okay.
Stadium.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. I guess Desert Sky Mall. Which one?
Desert
is that
Sky
again?
Mall's down in Mesa.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be somewhat closer, and he's got a flying car.
He does.
So, yeah, he's going to take advantage of that then. So he's going to go into fly mode and head to the Desert Sky Mall.
The parking structure? Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's go back over to Matilda, who is muted. Shelly, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. After hearing some of the earlier reports, Tilly would have rechecked her gear, made sure that she had everything in her truck, and she would not head towards the center of the city. She would more likely head to the outskirts where there's less infrastructure and less buildings falling on you.
Well, keep in mind, Phoenix goes all the way down to Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
So there really isn't an outskirts of town.
Well, I'm thinking like Cave Creek kind of outskirts.
Okay. But that's why I'm telling you, like, if you're almost gonna have to go out of town completely. It's what's called a megalopolis, meaning it is one giant city. So anything that would have encompassed Phoenix, like a suburb or whatnot by this point, is a part of Phoenix proper. So
Okay.
they don't all have like mega structures or whatnot, but it's all a part of one gigantic city.
I mean, you're probably already there with the zoo, and Papago's Park is probably kept relatively clear for like animals and as a park. That's why she's staying at a park, because it's the open space.
Yeah, I would say okay. Yeah, so she'll head to the zoo. That would make sense
Okay.
because that's got the open parking lot and stuff.
Okie doke. Then Jackie, we already know you're kind of trying to wait this out at Steel Indian Park, but even with the ash coming down?
With the ash coming down, she's going to see if she can figure out what the evacuation measures are. Are people actually being evacuated from these points in Phoenix?
Great question.
So
You'd have to go to find out.
Yeah, she'll probably take her, because the motorcycle is a little bit more nimble than a car.
Mm-hmm.
So she can get around any type of left cars or anything like that. But she'll try to go to the nearest evacuation point, which probably is Thunderbird Hospital, and try to get a feel for what's actually happening. Like, are people actually being evacuated? Is it like complete chaos? And then try to make her decision from there.
Okay, so
Just based on like her training and what she thinks the best thing to do in this kind of situation.
all right. Let's see. So Banner Thunderbird is pretty far away from you.
Oh, is it up off?
Comparatively, let me I think you're probably going to be better off at Sunny Slope.
Okay.
But let me double check. Boink.
It's 7th Street, Indian School.
Oh yeah, you're way closer to Sunny Slope.
Okay.
Yeah, by far. It's Sunny Slope for the most part is just due north on Central Ave,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
right by North Mountain.
Yep.
Okay. So let me make a note of all of this here. Okay. Chip, you are heading to where?
The Desert Sky Mall parking structure.
Alrighty. Let's see. I know Jackie went. Alex is at home. That moved out of the way. Naomi, where were you going?
Well, I think after looting Anthony's parents' house, she's gonna gather up all the things that she can, maybe find a backpack, and head to a survival place. The
Okay, so
closest
you're
one.
closest to you by far is Desert Sky Mall.
Okay, that's where she goes.
Okay. Matilda
She
went
brings
to...
extra clothing, you know, all that sort of stuff.
Sure. Matilda went to the zoo. Okay. All right. And Marcus, I think I know where you're going.
Well, he was going to go check on the kid.
The kid?
We were going to add a family to his backstory.
Right. I hadn't got a chance to really dive into that to figure out where he's at. So if he's local to if he's local to Phoenix, I can work on that for next game.
Work on that next game then.
Okay.
Okay. So then, well, he's going to, since he's got a hover car and he's not worried about earthquakes. And question: do the hover cars, are they like repulsor lists or are they like fans?
It's actually a great question. They're mostly it's all fan based.
So flying in the falling ash is a bad idea.
Flying or driving is going to cause clog.
Can it cause what?
Clog. Vehicles need to breathe.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about rigging a filter for the car, but well, yeah, I guess I'll go to the place I know then.
Okay. Makes absolute sense. All right. So what we're going to do is go ahead and stop there for the evening as everybody is branching off and trying to find shelters. Now that you know what exactly is happening. I will tell you up front, although your characters may not totally understand this at first. Like Mike, I was talking to Mike. With the ash coming down, it is going to start interfering with vehicles' ability to drive. It's not irreparable damage unless you keep trying to force it for one reason or another. But if you keep it clean, it's not it's something you're gonna have to work on. But with the ash coming down, you're gonna have to clean it out frequently. Otherwise, you are going to do permanent damage to any sort of vehicle. You are going to have to keep that in mind going outside. You are going to need some kind of mask or cloth or something to help filter out the ash because it's coming down hard. You are also, of course, nobody really did this, who are out and about. You're going to need to find a light source because even during the daytime, it's not day. And something you're going to start noticing here really quick is the temperature drop. These are all things that you're going to be on your immediate mind once you get to where you're going. In a pinch, obviously, you have smartphones that will give you some immediate light you can kind of look at up close, but it's not going to give you anything with range like a flashlight would. So keep that in mind. So we're at the end of our second game as of this point, and obviously the apocalypse has happened. Not with a whimper, but a bang. Finally, we
Is that what that was?
that's exactly what that was. We need to do RP votes. So, Chip or Dale.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna go with Callie tonight because like she seemed to be very on point. Got a go bag, got a rifle. She's got kind of a plan, knows what to do, avoiding people, stuff and things. Like is very very well thought out.
Okay. Brittany.
Yeah, I think our characters are going to get along.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Abby for having an NPC to that she's attached to.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. Abby.
I am gonna have to go with Callie for the same reason as Dale. She was just like, oh, major slash curious incident. I'm grabbing all my stuff and heading to the hills. So yes.
Okay. Mike.
Yeah, same. I'll go with Callie for being prepped out of character too.
Okay. Alrighty. Callie.
I am gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Mike, just because of the using the bureaucracy for information and being able to kind of wiggle out like what's happening and getting kind of updated information on that.
Sure. Okay. Abby, what does Toby say for an RP vote?
Toby. Who wins the RP vote?
Yeah, he's just like
He's like, there's a headphone here.
The headphone wins.
Okay. Shelly.
I'm going to also go with Callie because she had the same idea as my character did. You know, getting everything prepared early before all hell broke loose and getting away from people as well.
Okay. Cool.
Looking back, I should have filled my car with all the stuff from Dollar
The
General.
store.
Abby was like, I need a prep for this. I'm like, but Naomi wouldn't steal from her point of her job.
Yeah. All right. Well, Callie, you got the RP vote. Go ahead and write down 2 additional XP on your character sheet. So cool. That is it for our games this week. Next week we have got Star Wars on Wednesday. We have Mythic Savannah on Friday, which yes, it means it's coming this next Friday. Find out what's going on.
Is it Friday yet?
No.
And Marvel Superheroes on Saturday. So thank you guys for hanging out with us and catching us on the replay. And I hope you guys have a good night. Good night, guys.